Okay, so about a 10, almost 11-pound brisket at Costco. It's a prime. The only thing that I've done is I've washed it in the sink. I always just like, as soon as I get anything, whether it's a pork butt or ribs, brisket, chicken, I like to rinse the meat off. It's just something I like to do, especially with pork butts, because that gets bone dust off. There certainly could be chunks in there. Same thing with brisket. I just like to rinse it off, pat it dry. So I've got this here. Let me show you how I essentially cut or trim some of the fat off to prep it to smoke. So as you can see, there's some really hard stuff here. This is not going to render down during the cook, so it's important to cut it off. So let me go ahead and start cutting some fat off. I'll make some juicy noises. So I like to just trim this off. You know, you can see this part. This is called silver skin. A lot of people like to cut that off. I'm not too particular, but I do like to cut these pieces off, just to make sure you're going to put all your spices, you're getting directly on the meat itself. So. So right here is the separation between the flat and the point. I believe they refer that to the decal. I mean, I like to keep that in there. If you're on the competition side, a lot of people like to separate the two, the flat from the point, square up the flat, square up the point, make it as flat as possible so you can get the crust on both sides. I'm not going to do that today. I'm not going to do a competition. Just want to do something fun at home. A nice big old pile of fat. Alright, let's just change it up. Let's flip it. I want to talk to a little bit about the fat cap. You know, sometimes when you open it up, there'll be slices in it. I've seen it. But again, feel for the hard spots. And you really want to go for 1/4 inch. Some people like to get a little bit more fat cap than that, some less. I like about 1/4 inch or less. And then I certainly get rid of all the hard fat, right, which is right here. You can really feel it. Right here. And you can see this thicker part right here. I mean, I probably need to come in a little bit more. It is a real thin piece. Notice how it really thins out here. So maybe I do want to leave a little bit more fat here, just because this is thinner. It's a lot thicker right here, and then certainly as you come up the flat. But this tends to be a pretty heavy fat area over here. So I tend to, you know, and feel for it. I mean, it should be, you know, you should be able to move it around. Here, it's real hard right here, so get rid of that. I'm gonna go ahead and inject this. It's just a simple recipe. Beef broth, a little bit injection. I like to use Cosmos Q. I got some beef paste in there as well. The one thing that I'll go ahead and say is make sure that you're going with the grain whenever you do an injection. Otherwise you can see pooling in your flat slices after you get done smoking it. I usually like to start in just one area and then go about every 1 inch. You know, that's the thing. You're going to make a mess when you do this, and you certainly could end up spraying it somewhere, so that's why I've got this in this pan, just to make sure I don't spray all over the place. So I'd actually recommend using a smaller gauge needle. This is a 22. I think they make a 14. I'd probably recommend the 14 gauge. I just haven't picked that up. I probably could have borrowed a buddy of mine's, but I just didn't have time to do it. Again, see how I'm pooling a little bit. Sometimes I'll go ahead and take a little bit off the top. I'm just kind of working my way, like I said, in 1-inch areas. If it goes, if you feel like there's a little resistance, then just kind of pull back a little bit and then push a little bit. You know, some areas are harder than others. I definitely want to make sure I get the point. I'm going to try to approach it from this side, so I'm going to turn it around. That way you can see it. But I kind of go in here, right in the middle, kind of between the decal, the space in there. Need some more. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to pad dry. You can either drain this out. I'm not too worried about it. I just don't like it to pool in it. So again, you're going to soak up a lot of this. Okay, now that I've injected it, I'm going to go ahead and apply the rub. Very simple. Black pepper, freshly ground, garlic salt, brown sugar, and a little bit of onion powder as well. Real nice. Up, I like to start with the fat cap up because I will smoke it fat cap down. So all I have to do is now let that sit there for a minute. Just flip it, and then I can throw it in the fridge after this and let it sit just for a little bit before I put it on the smoker. Make sure you get all the spots. Again, nice and light. It just depends on your preference. I mean, the Texas style, I mean, it's going to be a lot more pepper here. So that way you can have a real nice crust on it. But I got a nice little, probably more towards a 60-40 with garlic salt towards black pepper. Really like that combo. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. Going to put it in the fridge, and we'll fire up the smokers here in a little bit. Okay, getting ready to fire it up. I'm using my buddy's Hunsaker Vortex. Got that started. Pretty sweet. I'm going to go ahead and put the top on it and let that get up to temp. And then I'll put my Guru, my DigiQ in next, and we'll be going. So, gonna have a little fun today. It's about 55 degrees. Humidity's not too bad, probably about 50%. Should be a good cook. We're both rolling pretty hot and fast. I'll be rolling 300 on my DigiQ. Almost there. And then I got my fireboard. I'm watching on all my temps using my fireboard thermometer system. Alright, gonna have some fun. We'll be back. I've already put that one. Get that smoke. There you go. You can kind of see. We got the point over there. I've got that right there in the flat. Alright, we'll just go ahead and take a real quick spritz. Looking pretty good. I pulled it. It's almost about 160 degrees internal. Again, I'm looking for this great bark. You can scratch this with your finger. It looks fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and just do a simple application. Just a little bit of apple juice. So it's got a little bit to sweat off while it's wrapped up. So we were smoking at approximately 300 degrees, 3 hours. You know, it looked great. Pulled it when it looked good. So That's my indicator.